For me, my name's John Warwick. I'm the director of the Hillel at FIU. This is the third of three programs we're doing with our partner city in Israel, Yerucham. Plenty of our students go on Birthright and on other trips we do to Israel. They find their way to Yerucham this summer. Obviously, Birthright was canceled, but we didn't want to lose that experience completely. So we put this program together to connect students, some who have been there already and just want to remember the fun times, and others who have checked it out for the first time. And it's great to invite the community as well. What we do at Hillel at FIU is really connect our students to the Jewish community in Miami, and Yerucham is very much a part of that. So it is exciting to do these programs. And we're excited in our third program here to be out in nature, to see the beauty that is Yerucham. And Debbie is going to lead the way with that discussion.
Shalom. Hi, I'm Debbie Golan, resident of Yerucham for the past 33 plus years. And I'm the co-founder and president of Atid Bamidbar, a nonprofit. Here we are at the last and third session introducing Yerucham. So thanks again, John, for challenging me to transform a physical visit into a Zoom visit. And I welcome all of you who are with us to our encounter about the fascinating nature that surrounds Yerucham, which is Miami's partner community for the past 13 years, Bar Mitzvah. Atid Bamidbar grapples with the lack of solidarity in Israeli society, and we use unique tools, community-based tourism, communal documentation, and the preservation and dissemination of unique ethnic traditions. We give center stage to stories that are not so well known in the Israeli mainstream. And one of the stories that are not so well known in the Israeli mainstream and in Miami is the incredible nature that Yerucham has been blessed by. And so today we're going to just give a little taste. We're going to get a peek at some of the beautiful birds. We're going to get a peek at some of the beautiful birds that are, and the scenery around the Yerucham Lake. We're going to take a break to do some cloud surfing or cloud falls over Machtesh Yerucham. And we're going to try to understand how the Machtesh and the cloud falling is created, how the phenomenon was formed, and we're going to get to know some of the creatures that come out at night in the desert. So before we proceed, I just want to make sure all of you, in case any of you are new to this series, where Yerucham is located. That's slide number 2. We're in the Negev. We're in the Negev highlands. And we're south of Beersheba, north of Sde Boker, where Ben Gurion's gravesite is. And west of Dimona, we're located really pretty high up, about 500 meters above sea level, between two mountain ranges that cross the Negev diagonally, 2 of 5. And why is this important? Because we'll come back to it when we talk about the Machtesh. What's really special about Yerucham, the next slide, is that it's between two incredible natural places. One is on the west, the Yerucham Lake Park, where we are now, physically live. And the second is the Mount Avnun lookout point and Machtesh Yerucham, which is circled on the east. You can sort of see it's like a crater, but we'll talk more about why it isn't exactly a crater when we get there. And now, I just would like another, that's it, that's beautiful. The Yerucham Lake, okay, we're looking at this, in this slide, from the dam, which is not far from where we are located now, towards the city of Yerucham, looking east. And the dam basically holds the floodwaters that come in the river from all of the areas around Yerucham, all of the mountainous areas, and make this lake. Originally was a reservoir for the kibbutzim that are down the Rivim riverbed from here, Rivim and Mashabeh Sadeh. And you can see that both ends of in this slide, you can see both ends of the lake. One is the dam with people standing on it, and the other down below is the dock that looks towards the dam, but is very far away from it. Here in the Yerucham Lake Park, we hope we'll be able to see at least a few of the more than 170 species of birds that come to the lake as they prepare for bed and accompany them to sleep. Our guide will be Yoam Tzvik, the founder and CEO of Duchifat, the Hupo Ecology and Ornithology NGO. You can see in the slides that are going by the bicycle paths. This is a picture of what I call the fjord that goes like an arm reaching out into the mountains from the Yerucham lake. And this is another beautiful picture of a place very, very close to where we are now. Since this is live, you'll hear some of the people who are visiting here, picnicking and coming to fish. And we'll try to keep them as quiet as we can. The Hupo Ecology and Ornithology NGO was founded inside Atid Bamidbar when Yerucham worked with us in 2012, and it became an independent NGO in 2014. And it works under the academic aegis of Ben Gurion University, but also partners with many other universities, the Israeli Academy of Science, JNF, for any of you that are involved in the Jewish National Fund, Nature Reserves Authority, and other bodies. Yerucham is a nature-loving resident of Yerucham for the past 14 years, who happens to be an international expert on scorpions, and he'll share with us his extensive knowledge and unique expertise. Yerucham will tell us where we are now, a little about Tuchifat, what he has learned about the lake and its bird population, and we're also going to look as much as we can around at the birds that are getting ready for bed here. Yerucham, bevakasha. Do you want to, John, do you want me to switch to, here we are. Okay, great. Here's Yerucham.
Hey, welcome. Sorry for the funny face. So we are here. Debbie explained a little bit about how the lake was created. And actually, when we say lake, it's mainly to Israelis, because standing in front of North Americans and call this water reservoir a lake, it's impossible. It's actually a water reservoir. Most of the water are coming from flood water during the winter. And what happened is that since it was created, it became a hotspot ecologic-wise, because many creatures are attracted from the arid desert surrounding. Maybe you can see in my pictures, maybe you can see the hills around are pretty arid, and they are attracted to the fresh water and the vegetation, the lush vegetations that are surrounding the lake. So it became ecologic-wise a hotspot and an oasis in the middle of the desert. And the ones who can switch places the most and faster are the birds, of course. So we are privileged to have here around 270 different species of birds, which is amazing. At the moment, some of them are already getting into the reeds bed around for the roosting time. And I don't know, probably you cannot hear it, but we can hear already the calls of the sparrows. There's a huge group of sparrows at the reed beds over there. And some other birds are still hunting around. And I will try and show you with the telescope, maybe some of them. Unfortunately, or I don't know if it's unfortunately, many people are enjoying the lake and the surroundings, so it's very nice and we're happy about it. But since today, especially, we have a few groups around us here, so some of the birds are keeping further distance. So it will be a little bit harder to show some of them, but we'll do our best.
Okay, shall we try to zoom in on some of the birds now?
I will try.
Okay.
You will take a regular picture.
Okay. Okay, Yerucham came equipped with his special telescope for bird watching. And we're here in a special little hideaway, I think it's called, that will enable people to stay here and quietly watch the birds without the birds feeling that they're threatened in any way.
I don't, maybe people can see through my...
Can you see through Yerucham's, John, can everyone see through Yerucham's telescope now? When he's looking at?
Not so clear, Debbie.
Not so clear. Okay.
We had it for a second.
Now it's more.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, it was almost great.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's a little vague again.
Okay, give me a second. My
Okay.
reading glasses, maybe it will help.
Or should I try with mine again? Out. How is that?
But can you
Oh,
see the
Pull it back like a little bit.
There's a heron there, but I don't see it too clearly, Yoram.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
Ah,
Now we
ah,
can see.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, a long-necked heron.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Waiting for a good fat fish to come by, I guess.
right.
Just
Boy.
Let me come up closer here. Let me try and focus on it.
Okay. Wait a second.
Can you hold this for a
Yes,
second?
I am. I'm holding it. Yoram's focusing his telescope here.
Okay. Let's see what we have here.
Oh,
This
oh,
is a
oh.
night heron.
Can you see the bird that's poised on the branch there?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was clear.
Now it's good. Now
Now
it's good.
Okay.
Now it's good.
It's a night heron, and it's actually ambushing for fish at the moment. So some of the birds are ready to go to sleep, but others are just awaking for their hunting session this time, because it's very hot here during the day, and that's why it's a problem. I will try and zoom on one more thing, which is there. A second. You can see through Debbie's now the lake in general. Okay. Just stay there. Okay, this is a coot. It's one of the waterfoils.
Waterfowls.
Fowls.
It's a kind of duck.
You hit the telescope. so
Oi,
hard.
oi, oi, oi. I'm sorry, I bumped into the telescope.
It's swimming now, unfortunately. Here it is eating there. I guess you can see it eating now.
Can you see it dipping its
Yes.
beak
Yes.
into the mud and
Yes.
getting little crustaceans or worms?
Now
Yeah.
it's good, Debbie. We can
What?
see it clear. We can see it clear.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Like in a nature movie.
You can show now the ones that swims in front of us. Can you zoom to them?
I'm gonna try. I don't know how I can get back to, hang on a second. Oh dear,
Technology.
maybe you can do
I
a,
tried. I don't know how to do it as well. I'm
okay,
sorry.
okay.
Oh, wait. Not this one. No, I don't know how to.
No. Okay, there's a few ducks swimming in front of us, but for some reason, hang on a second, I can't seem the way I did just a few minutes ago to expand the photos so that you can see it even larger. Okay. Maybe we'll look, John, at a few more until we figure out how to expand the frame. Let's look at a few of the slides that Yoram prepared, the photos he sent of some of the more than 270 birds that are in the lake. There's a slide here about the hoopoe thing. Here is Spanish sparrows. They're not really from Spain. They're definitely sabars. You see Yoam holding a bird, about to tag it and feed it. Here's the sparrows drinking at the lakeshore. Again, an oasis, we said. This is an oasis. And then the next one shows some of the ducks that are here, the mallards that I remember from Boston, but these are Israeli mallards. And then the next slide will show you the coot on the right, at the top there. And then two of the red shanks, kinds of waterfowl that have long legs, so they can stand in the shallow water and get what they want to eat without getting too wet. And here is the hoopoe, which happens to be Israel's national bird and is the name of Yoram's NGO, and a sand grouse, a crowned sand grouse, which is sort of like a partridge. It's a ground bird. These are some of the.
Can you go back to the
go back to the sand grouse. Yoram wants to share something.
Yeah, because it's an amazing story about them. It's a completely desert bird. It nests on the ground in the middle of the arid desert hills. There's nothing around the nest.
No shade.
No shade, nothing in the heat of the desert. And twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, they are flying sometimes dozens of kilometers to any water hole or water reservoir that they can find. They drink water, and especially the males, they have hollow feathers in their chest. So they get into the water, the feathers get filled with water, and they fly back with the water inside the feathers all the way back to the nest, and they let their chicks to drink from those feathers. So it's an amazing story about them.
So it's like carrying your canteens, a whole bunch of canteens for the whole group with you on your body, and then they drink from like straws, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. These are the finch and European robin. You want to tell me what you told me yesterday?
Yeah, just about the robin. When the first settlers came from England and to North America, they saw the American robin. They saw that it has a reddish chest, so they call it a robin. But of course, it's not the same bird at all as the European robin. So these days, we have two robins, European robin and American robin, completely different birds. And this finch, by the way, this is a male. It's beautiful with its black beak and pinkish feathers. I think it's one of the beautiful birds that we have here. They are nest around us in the small wadis around Yerucham, and we can see them very often. Beautiful bird.
Wadis are riverbeds.
Yeah.
If we go to the next slide, I think these compete with that finch about being beautiful birds.
Yeah, the first one, the golden oil, it's actually a tropic bird. Really, it's big bird, relatively big bird. It's like a jay in its size, black and yellow, beautiful bird. And they are just migrating through Israel. They wintering in Africa, and they nest in Europe. And they have stopovers here, which we are really happy about it. They also have a very special calls that they have. It's like a flute. So we call them in Hebrew, they call Zahavan Mechalel, like golden flute player. That's the Hebrew name.
And the little bird on the bottom left, which I mistakenly called a hummingbird, is actually called a Palestinian sunbird, because it's different than the hummingbird in America.
Yeah,
it's just as beautiful.
Yeah, they really look the same. It's a convergent evolution for two different groups of birds that develop to look the same and to utilize nectar same way. Debbie, you had a nest of them.
We still do.
Okay.
We still do. We actually have. They had 2 rounds of eggs right above our door. It was amazing. And so there's a lot of birds inside Yerucham too, not only here at the lake. Johan, do you want to get organized for the scorpions? And maybe John will take a look now about the machtesh. So the next slide is 15, right? Okay, Machtesh Yerucham. This is from the Mount Avnun lookout point on the east side of the Machtesh. It's breathtaking, and the first look of any Machtesh is really breathtaking. How is the Machtesh formed, or what is the Machtesh first? A Machtesh is actually the word that's used in geological professional literature for a crater that isn't made by a meteorite, but it's made by erosion. So when you look into the Machtesh, you're actually looking at the underside of an ancient mountain that was there. It's a steep walled valley, and imagine a loaf of bread with a hard crust. If you break through the hard crust, you can easily eat away the softer inner layers, and that's sort of the shape of a Machtesh, like a mountain that was there. The hard layers of rock were eaten away by erosion, and the softer layers also. So when you're looking down into the Machtesh, you're looking back into time. The formation is about 90 million, 100 million years ago, but the layers inside are even older. And what does the word Machtesh come from? Mortar and pestle, like in the little insert there. And actually unique phenomenon. This is a unique phenomenon to Israel. There are 5 Machteshes in the Negev and 3 in Sinai, and they don't exist in any other place in the world. So this is really unique. And Yerucham sits right to the west of Machtesh Yerucham, which used to be called Machtesh Gadol, because it was then thought, before they discovered Machtesh Ramon, to be the biggest one in the Negev. Machtesh Ramon outsizes us by far, but Machtesh Yerucham, you can see the entire circumference. Let's go on and to the next slide. And 90 to 100 million years ago, if you look here at the Machtesh Katan, you can really see on each side the layers, and if you imagine how they connect together at the top, you can sort of imagine how the mountain that once existed there looked. And the hard rocks are limestone and dolomites. The inner softer rocks are mostly chalk or sandstone. And if you see the next slide, John, you can see some of the incredible landscapes of around the Machtesh. And I think we missed one with the colored sands. No, here it is. The colored sands inside the Machtesh are incredibly beautiful in shades of pink and white and yellow and orange and purple and magenta and chrome colored, all kinds of different shades and colors, mineral deposits. And it's one of the most fun things in the world to go into the Machtesh and make a bottle with layers of colored sands that I don't think anyone who's been to the Machtesh Gadol, Machtesh Yerucham, has ever gone without doing. Let's take a few minutes now to look at this incredible phenomenon that a photographer blogger called Rom Karmi documented just a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half ago, here in our Machtesh Yerucham. And usually this is a phenomenon that happens in the winter. He got it in July by waking up very early. John, if you can show us the film that he made a 2-minute film. Wait, this is, okay. How are you doing there? You're off on mute, John.
All right, pulling it up right now.
Okay. He did this from a drone. He photographed this from a drone that he put up from Mount Avnun at 6:30 in the morning when he got up, and was in the White Hill guest house. Here we are. This is Ram Karmi. He's showing you the scene from the White Hill guest house where he left after making coffee for himself in the morning, and he went out to the Machtesh. And he witnessed this incredible phenomenon. It happens when warm, moist air comes from the west and meets the cold, dry air of the desert. And if the moisture is carried to the Negev highlands during the day, and as the air cools towards the coldest time, the coldest hours just before sunrise, it condenses rapidly under the layer of warmer air and fog. You also need a light wind coming from the west that blows towards the cliffside, and the cold and moist air is heavier than its surroundings, so it just glides down the cliffs like a waterfall. You're also getting a view here of the inside of our Machtesh, not only of the clouds doing snappling down the sides. Look at this. It's very similar to the sight of water coming over the dam when the lake fills to its fullest and the waters can no longer be contained behind the dam and they flow over the dam. Here's the clouds flowing over our Machtesh. So, if we can go back to his photo, his slide, John, thanks so much. It's possible also to purchase a still photo of that incredible phenomenon. Usually you see it in the winter. These are two artists from Yerucham. We go back one to Anna Marcus, who were inspired by the Machtesh. This is her painting. She of blessed memory, did a lot of paintings of the nature around Yerucham. And the next is the actual photograph by photographer and sculptor Alex Kalisher, where he caught the incredible sight of the sun coming through just in different spots inside the Machtesh and illuminating them with the clouds and the darkness around. So that's just to show you a little taste of our Machtesh. If we go to the next slide, we're not going to talk about any of these incredible flowers or animals that come out in the desert that live in our area. And in the Negev, some more south of us, like the leopard, but still a lot of the others are our neighbors. We're actually going now to be introduced with Yoram to some of the many species of scorpions in Yerucham. Yoram does nighttime safaris with ultraviolet headpieces, so you can headlights, so you can actually see them in the dark. And we're going to try to do that now. It's a little too much, a little too close to sunset, and there's still beautiful light in the sky. The sky over to the, I don't know if you can see, the sky over to the east is turning pink and orangey, and it's just gorgeous. So we'll see what we can do. And now we're going to try to introduce Yoram. Yoram has a collection of live scorpions in his lab. All the scorpions of Israel is one of the biggest collections. This is what he brought them in. Okay, and we're going to see if we can go first to this one here. Who is this?
Debbie, don't worry, I have an antidote.
Thank you.
Okay, this is actually the most common scorpion in Israel, but also the deadliest one. And it's actually considered to be one of the top 3 most deadliest scorpions in the world. It's called Leurius hebreus, or it's a very close to the Leurius quinquestriatus. These are the Latin names, they are scientific names, but in English, you call it death stalker. I wonder why. But, you know, one doesn't need to be really afraid, because scorpions are really quiet creatures. And if you don't sit on them, or if you don't put your feet into the shoe where the scorpion is hiding, then there's nothing to be worried about. This one is yellow, as you can see. Oops, Debbie, watch it.
Sorry, there was someone in that box.
And I'll try and show you under UV light the different scorpions that I'm showing you. So it's not completely dark, but still I think we will be able to see the effect. Yeah, now you can see it very well. You can see that they glow in the dark, and that's because of a special phenomena. Oh, I have to block kids just again. ילדים, אנחנו בשידור פה לארצות הברית, לאמריקה. תהיו בשקט לגמרי. Okay, sorry, a group of nice little kids just came. So the phenomena that you see here is due to the exoskeleton of the scorpions, all scorpions all over the world. We know today, science know today about 2,500 and something different species, and all of them are glowing under UV light because the way the exoskeleton is built and the materials that it's made of, they actually break the wave
Light
of the
beams.
ultraviolet and return it in very glowy color to our eyes. So it's very easy to spot scorpions during the night when we search for them around the desert. So that's a blessing here. Actually, I say that Yerucham is the capital of scorpions of Israel, because we have, it depends how far we go, but we have at least 10 different species around Yerucham. So it's really beautiful. So let me show you another one. Just a second.
This is the colors that you would see if you would meet one.
Yes.
And here we're putting this guy back.
Everything is with, maybe you can zoom out a little
That
bit.
I'm
But
doing.
we are very
That's what I'm
careful.
doing.
We don't touch them by hand, never. So far, I had never been stung by a scorpion. So
And let's
hopefully,
definitely hope it doesn't happen today.
that's right. Although it would be interesting. Yeah, but
He
just-
didn't show me where the antidote is.
Just a second. So this is a tiny one. Okay. Maybe I put a regular light.
Yes. Can you see that, guys? Everyone? John?
Okay.
Little baby.
Yep, I see it.
Actually, it's an adult, and even a big adult, although it's only without the tail, it's less than 2 centimeters. The tail is just above the front abdomen. Actually, what we call tail is the rear abdomen of the scorpion, and this one we call it akrabon negbi in Hebrew. There's no English name for it. The scientific name is pretty long. It's
That's okay. It's longer.
Autochirus crobicolosus.
It's definitely longer than the
Yeah.
scorpion itself. That's for
Yes,
sure.
that's for sure. And I want to show you something, what it does with its tail. This one doesn't, oh, you can see it moving the tail from side to side a little bit, but it's also
Whoa.
running now. Because this specific scorpion, they have, now he does it very nice.
He's dancing.
Yeah, they have special hairs on the tail, and when they move them around, they can feel vibration from the area, so they can understand what's going on if there's an attack or something. And because I disturbed it, that's why he did it. I would like to show it to you also under UV light, so you can see it. Before we saw a yellow scorpion, this is a black scorpion, and still they glow. It doesn't matter what color the scorpion is. And I don't know if you ever heard this legend, but in Israel, everybody keeps asking about it. If black scorpion is
More poisonous.
less poisonous or less dangerous than a yellow scorpion, it's not true. We have some black scorpions that are very poisonous, and we have some yellow scorpions, like I showed you before, that are very poisonous, but also yellow scorpions that are harmless and black scorpions that are harmless. This little guy, when he stings you in your finger, the first thing you want to do is to cut your finger off. After 1 to 2 hours, you are happy you didn't do it in the first place, because that's it. It's very painful for the first 1-2 hours, and that's it. Then it just disappears. So it's not a big problem, although of course we don't like to touch it by hand.
So let's put this guy back
Yeah.
in his little container.
Okay, I want to close that.
They don't climb smooth surfaces.
That's right. That's why it's so easy for us to show them without worried. So this is the king, guys. This is the king. Okay.
Is this Israel's national
This
scorpion?
is Israel National Scorpion. We just made a campaign 2 years ago.
Yes.
2 years ago, the end of the summer.
I voted for him.
And this one, there was a big competition between this one and the first one I show you, the Death Stalker. But eventually this one won the competition.
And he's not poisonous.
He's poison. All scorpions are poisonous, but he's not deadly. It's not dangerous. And one of my mentors, Dr. Danny Simon, told me that we cannot vote for the other one, for the Death Stalker. I said, what happened if, God forbidden, a baby will die from a sting by the Death Stalker? What they will put on his grave, that he was stung to death by the national scorpion? You know, it cannot be.
By a Jewish scorpion.
Yeah.
God forbid.
So this one got, it's the biggest scorpion in Israel. It can reach up to 15 centimeters together with the tail, which is pretty long and pretty big. And I don't know if you can assess how big it is, but maybe if you will see my hand near. So
I wouldn't go any further.
No, I'm not going further. You can see it's a big scorpion. And
let's see if this
and
goes
it's all over here. Now you can see it under UV light, and it's you can find it all over Israel, this scorpion. So it's also a reason why it can be the national scorpion. And also its scientific name, it's like the Hebrew name, Nebo Yerichon, Nebo Yerichonticus. So actually even in Latin, they use names of two places in Israel. So Nebo, like Mount Nebo.
Right, that Moses climbed up to see a last view of the land of Israel before he passed away.
And Yerichonticus from Jericho. So basically, you know, scientific name that mentioned two places in the Holy Land. So it had to be the national scorpion. And to see it here, it hides under big rocks in the riverbeds, especially the dry riverbeds. So it's amazing to see them climbing out during nighttime, and it's really lovely. And I would like to show you the last one for today. Just a second. I have to take this one back carefully. Not deadly, but
do
still.
they know how to turn over if they get
Yes,
back?
yes, they know.
They know how to turn over.
By the way, in medicine these days now, they start to use parts of the venom of the scorpions to do different kind of treatments. The Death Stalker that I showed you before, they do something with the glioma. It's tiny. Okay, this one is
very stubborn. It doesn't want to come out.
Yeah, I leave it like this as long as we can see it.
Okay.
Maybe, okay. You need a regular light?
Yeah, I think it would be good, but this is, I have to change the angle.
I will change, it moves, so maybe we can let it go. This tiny one that we are struggle to show you is because of, this is an amazing story. This is my career now, this tiny scorpion. It's considered to be one of the most rarest scorpion in the world. Yeah, I'm just, now we can see it easily. And
what happened
we knew it was, maybe I put a UV light so it will be easy to see.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so we knew about 3 different species. Each one was described to science from one specimen. All 3 specimens are from the Levant. One from Jordan was collected by Professor Georg Haas from the Hebrew University before the establishment of the State of Israel, and one from southern to the Sea of Galilee, collected by Yaakov Palmoni, and from Kibbutz Degania. And then one was collected in Syria, in the Syrian desert, by Yasmi Stati, a Greek researcher from Crete. And it was very rare, and they knew nothing about it, and they didn't find. Then Lorenzo Prendini, he's the master of scorpions in the world. He's from the Natural History Museum in New York. He found one just north to the Dead Sea, but that's it. So I was looking for them for a few years, and eventually I found two of them. And then I realized something weird. I realized that they were found on the trail, on the foraging trail of the
Ants.
harvest ants, which are relatively big ants, the same size as this scorpion. This scorpion, this one, I think it's less than 2 centimeters, and that's the most that we found was 2.1, 2.2 centimeters long, including the tail. And then I was tracking them and realized that they live inside the ant's nest. And that was first time to science, first time that a scorpion lives inside ant nest. And I publicized a short communication in a scientific journal. And these days I'm researching them together with colleagues from the Hebrew University. And we are studying the spatial relationship between the scorpion and the ants. Amazing discoveries. We are still studying it. We are still trying to figure out what's going on. But we already know that it's really spatial. So I'm really excited about this scorpion. But we still learn a lot about this one.
Okay. So, and can we take him out of the limelight now?
Yes. I don't know if you see it without.
Okay, I don't know
light.
if you can see it. There we go. That's in regular light.
Yeah, and we call it, in Hebrew, we call it Akrav Nemalim Hayarden, Jordanian ant scorpion, if I will translate it. The scientific name is Birolatus israelensis. Birolatus, it's named after a Russian scorpion researcher, Birula, and Israelensis because this species was discovered by Yaakov Palmoni in Israel.
Okay, and then Yoram's international career was launched thanks to this little
That's
scorpion.
right.
He mentioned Hebrew University. He didn't mention some of the other universities he's been in touch with in Crete and Greece and New York and other places.
Yeah, the Natural History Museum in New York, I spent 2 or 3 weeks there together with Lorenzo Pendini, and it was very interesting.
Okay, now we're putting all those scorpions back to bed, so to speak. And maybe we'll wind up and open for questions and answers. Yoram, say a few calming words to people who may want to come on a nighttime safari with you, but not necessarily meet only scorpions.
Yeah, when we do nighttime safari, so we look at other creatures as well, mainly small creatures because A, because I love them, and B, because it's easy to spot them if you know where to look. And also, they're not dangerous. It's very easy to manipulate them and to get along with them. So scorpions, I do night safaris and scorpion hunt with flashlights with the little kids and families. And thank God nothing happens. If we don't touch the scorpions, they don't run, they don't jump, they don't fly, of course. So they just stand where they are. So they're very easy to spot and to look. And you continue on and nothing happens. But we also look at bats here and some of the fish that live during the night, or orb web spiders, which are beautiful. They build beautiful webs here. So
porcupines.
Maybe. Yeah, we see porcupines, we see foxes. If we are really, really lucky, but usually it's only if the group is quiet enough, so we can see a hyena. A hyena today is the biggest predator, mammal predator or predator at all in Israel, but they are very quiet. They never, there's not even one record of a hyena that attack a person in Israel since ever. So it's a beautiful creature, and we see it sometimes from 20, 30 meters away with flashlights. It's really beautiful.
Thank you, Yoram. I hope you found this as fascinating as I did. And I hope that it just whet your appetite for coming to see what Yerucham as nature has to offer. I want to maybe just show you some last beautiful views of the lake now as the sun has gone down behind the mountain. I don't know if you can hear the birds that are nesting, but they're really loud here. Are there any questions before we wind up? And I say thank you to everyone. There's so much more to show. This was really just a taste, a real glimpse of the fascinating and beautiful scenery from here and the fauna and flora of Yerucham. There's so much more to show. Any questions for Yoram from the audience?
Not questions, but I want to say something. Even for me, I live here and I know the lake. It's my first time to see it, and it was amazing and learning. And Yoram, you are the best, and you are doing wonderful job. And me and Gary just texting between us, and we said we need to do it with children at school in Miami, and to do it for a group that came from Miami to Yerucham. The other things beside the regular things that they are doing when they are coming to Yerucham. So it was amazing and learning, and wow. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Michal. Thank you, Michal. Heartfelt thanks. If there are no other questions, I really want to thank from the bottom of my heart, Yoram Zvi, for sharing your story, for sharing your expertise, for sharing your enthusiasm for the natural wonders of Yerucham. Thanks to you and to Ronnie Livnet for those amazing photographs. I don't know if we want to show just the last slide or two of the birds and the scorpions. John, maybe just put on the last two slides. These are some of the scorpions that we've just seen live. This is the Yerucham, the ant scorpion. Looks so much bigger there. Yes, that's a gorgeous picture of the crocuses that bloom here in the mountains near the lake in the fall. I want to thank again John Warwick from the FIU Hillel. I want to thank Dalia Ben David from the Greater Miami Jewish Federation, Tamar Chalak, Columbus, the Shlichat to Miami, Michal Melker, thank you for your kind words and also for your help. You're the people-to-people coordinator of the Miami Yerucham Partnership. Thanks to all of you for your support and for your assistance with this series. Thanks to Ram Carney and also to Liat Abieli, the tourism coordinator of Yerucham, who also gave me photographs to use in the presentation. Thanks to all of you who joined us. And this session and maybe in the other sessions. We look forward to seeing little film clips of the sessions, John, when you get them done. And what can I say? We hope to host you in Yerucham so you can see these things with your own eyes, hopefully soon, or at least with Zoom, if not in person. So the next time we'll meet, who knows? But meanwhile, let's wish each other a happy, healthy, sweet new year that's coming up in about a little less than 2 months.
Debbie,
John, you want to take it away?
Debbie, this is Gary. I think when you use the term that the natural wonders of Yerucham, I think we can all say together that you and Yoram are part of the natural wonders. Today's presentation was actually so fantastic. As you know, I've been to the lake many times. And the first time was when Michal and Rafi from the Matnas actually gave me a private tour. But today was just over the top. It was just fantastic. And I thank you for sharing the time. And John, for setting this up. Wow. This is a wow. This is a wow.
So much, Gary.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us, for all of these programs. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to be back in the fall. We're doing a program together, focused on social justice. It's going to be an educational program for students, but we do want to open it up to anybody who in the community wants to, pop into any of the sessions. So we'll keep you updated on that. And like Debbie said, I'm putting together a video of all three of these that can kind of capture the highlights throughout. I'll share that with everybody when that is ready. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Debbie, for everything. I really appreciate you making this happen. And hopefully next year we do this in person.
Yeah, hopefully.
Next year in Yerucham. That's what they say, right?
Right.